Hello veggie growers, and welcome to another episode of Becoming Self-Sufficient. On today's episode we've got a lot to get through. We're going to be transplanting some of these seedlings into larger pots to ensure that they continue to grow healthy and strong. We're going to look at 4 kitchen scraps that you can actually turn into a bountiful crop, and obviously we've just got a few odds and ends that we're going to get through in the garden, because as a gardener you know it never stops. Okay, so our first chore for today is to look after these beautiful citrus trees. I've got a nice big orange tree here behind me, and just a little further down I have a beautiful lemon tree. Now what we need to do is we need to spray them with some of this pest oil, because as we start to come into spring, you'll start to notice all these tiny little citrus aphids everywhere. And what they do is they bury into the stem just in front of the fruit, and they suck all of those vital nutrients out so that the fruit can't grow to its full potential, and often you get a crumbly or almost stringy citrus fruit on the inside because of these bugs. So what we're going to do is spray them now with this pest oil to try and keep these citrus aphids away. Now hopefully that's our citrus trees taken care of for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to head down to the hardware store and pick up some of the supplies that we need to get through today. Okay, so we've been down to my local hardware store and picked up a few supplies that we need to get everything done today. I got some good wood chips just to get a nice mulch going around. Now it was my intention today to also build some more raised garden beds, but when I saw these already done and the only thing that I need to do is drill drainage holes, I just thought to myself, it's an opportunity that I can't pass up. So I actually bought 5 of these little raised garden beds. This little mulberry tree was calling out my name. I couldn't leave him behind. He was the last one there, so I had to take that home with me as well. I got some more shelving for inside the greenhouse to be able to continue to sprout more seed and keep them safe from the elements. And I also got some stakes to put into the raised garden beds, because obviously we've spoken about it before, I'm growing a lot of climbing plants, so I'll be able to use some of that chicken wire that I've got to join onto the stakes so that those vines can actually climb up. Well, let's get into it. Now, I want the mulch to be relatively thick so that the grass doesn't grow up and through it. Not as thick as I've got it there, but I'm just going to grab a rake and rake some of that out. Now, with our garden bed drainage holes done, all we need to do is fill them up with soil and start transferring over some of those seedlings. But before we do, I promised 4 kitchen scraps that you could grow into a great crop at home. Okay, so scrap number 1, potatoes. They're probably some of the easiest scraps that you can turn into a good harvest right out of your kitchen. All you need to do is leave them in the cupboard long enough and they will start to sprout. Stick them in the ground and 2 to 3 months later, you'll have a whole harvest of potatoes that you can dig up. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth with this particular one because I have a whole nother video on how to grow potatoes. Check it out. Scrap number 2, the end of your celery. I'm not sure if you knew this, but if you eat celery in soups and in salads and things like that, you can grow a whole nother head of celery from the bottom. All I've done to get this little guy sprouting is stick it in a small cup of water and left it for roughly about 2 weeks. And I know 6 to 10 weeks from now, I'll have a whole lot of celery that I can harvest fresh from my garden. Scrap number 3, tomatoes. Tomatoes are just as easy to grow as celery and potatoes. In fact, I have a compost pile going, well, had a compost pile going, and I threw in some old tomatoes from the refrigerator that I thought were just a little bit too off to be able to eat. And I chopped them up. Obviously, that's a little bit of green waste to add some nitrogen to the soil, and threw them into the compost pile. And before I knew it, I have tomato plants growing everywhere. I can't stop these little guys. And the 4th and final scrap that you can grow is pumpkin. Now, all 4 of these are super easy to grow, but the pumpkin takes just that little bit more work. Once you've finished with your pumpkin, be sure to save the seed. So scoop them out from the inside, place them on top of some paper towel and leave them out to dry for a few days. Once they're dry, you can pop them in the soil, give them a light water, and in about a week or 2, you'll have all your own little pumpkin plants popping up everywhere. You'll be able to put them out in the garden and you're well on your way to having a bountiful pumpkin harvest. And there you have it, guys. 4 vegetable scraps that you can easily turn into homegrown veggies for you and your family. Well, guys, I do have to ask myself, where has the time gone today? I can't believe it's already late afternoon. We've had such a successful day. We have repotted the zucchini plants and popped in a trellis. We've repotted some of the tomato seedlings and popped in a trellis. They're out in full sunlight now, which should hopefully really promote some great plant growth. We've put down a whole area of mulch, just for purely aesthetic reasons, guys, just so it looks like our veggie patch is a separate part of the garden, because I'm super excited about it, obviously. We've put in our new raised garden beds. We've transplanted our corn over into our raised garden beds. Wow, we've got through an awful lot today, guys, and I am so excited about it. There's only more to come. You see, because whilst you were watching this, again, I went back down to the hardware store and I also purchased some flowers. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to encourage the pollinators now to come into my little small veggie patch. That's the bees, so that once all these fruits and veg start flowering, I'll have some bees about to be able to pollinate those flowers and ensure we get a great crop. Well, guys, this is the final product. This is all the work that we've done today. I'm really happy with it. I hope that you guys are happy with it. If you like it, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and to subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.